Hello, film theory class. This is my presentation, Theories All Our Own, Resistance and Representation. My name is Nyrei Mendez, and let's get into it. Today, I will be discussing resistance to identification in film. As adults, we understand someone designs films. Someone picked the location, someone designed the clothes, someone chose the people, the movements people chose to make, and the language people chose to speak. Everything. As adults, this is understood. But for children, this understanding is a process. My parents weren't the most affluent, but they were educated. And even though they both had bachelor's degrees, I was never explicitly told what you see on TV is a complete figment of someone else's imagination. Film is not real life in any sense of the word. However, most people think that film reflects life down to a T. While most stories are based on real life, movies are not real life. Even as a representation of life, they are pretty poor. All that to say pretty much that even with college-educated bilingual parents that have lived their entire life in the United States and having been exposed to the media their whole life, they didn't think to explain to their children how movies and the media worked. I'm sure that's how it worked for a lot of you sitting at home right now on some level. And not to say it's their fault. I mean, dissemination of information takes a long time. And when they're in the 90s studying in college, media was not a priority. They were both crim-j majors. But since media is my area of focus, let's talk about it. All right, let's get to the nitty-gritty. The kind of TV you watch affects how you think of other ethnicities, if not explicitly told the opposite. The world is a scary place, and for young minds, they are sponges. They latch on to the simplest things. If they see something on TV, they will believe it until told otherwise. For example, if a child sees an IT person in a movie, and that person is played by an Indian individual, in that child's mind, all Indians are IT specialists, people that look ethnically Indian anyway. And I'm not saying this because I think children are stupid and they don't know the difference between film and real life, but I'm just saying underdeveloped minds have a hard time making the differentiation. As said, when not explicitly told, for example, of course, Indians are not all IT specialists, kids have to come up with how they choose to apply that knowledge to their life. So I feel like that's when you get those awkward conversations at the cookout like, hey, Vasu, you work in computers? And Vasu's just like, nah, fam, I got me a tattoo shop. But anyway, everyone should be taught resistance to identification in the media because media resistance is what makes film making an ever-evolving sport. So we see this little diagram here. You make something bad, that building is supposed to be like a film that someone directed. And then, those little people are a community that hates / criticizes / resists identifying with on some level the piece of media in question. And then check that out. Look, the little flower is blooming. The new little film, new perspectives are blooming and being shared because of media resistance. My ideas are best exemplified through action movies. In action movies, there is a common trope called the impossible person. This trope was based on a YouTube video I saw by FD Signifier referenced right here. If you'd like to check it out, you can. He goes into much deeper depth. The impossible man trope is based on the idea that a character embodies the everyday man, a normal, down-to-earth, non-problematic individual. Some examples of this are John Wick and Die Hard.
Mr. Vic.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
So, according to these movies' logics, the everyday man looks white, slim, and male. White boys is the standard for today. Got it? All right, moving on.
That dog was a final gift from my dying wife.
So if white is the standard, what is the other? In John Wick, the other is the Russian mafia. And in Die Hard, Hans Gruber, a German man with an accent, is also the perpetrator of the crimes. Foreign equals other. These are not hypervisible, however. They have accents, but otherwise, they are white as well. Moving on to my second example, Predator 2, we see hypervisibility in the other as very apparent. The other in this film could be considered the aliens, the predators, the Jamaican gangs, and the Colombian gangs. So if the gangs and the aliens are the other, then who's the standard? The standard is actually Danny Glover's character. He's a cop, relatable, everyday man, but he's also the impossible man. He is the moral compass of the movie. He is past the gangs,
Ten Colombians and Scorpios. On to fuck off.
past the government,
Door. Open it. Go fuck yourself.
and the aliens.
A fucking alien.
And while him and his crew are very diverse, they are still very American. For reference, in stark contrast with Danny Glover and the rest of the cops, the Jamaican and Colombian gangs are depicted with long locks, grills, scars, eye-catching clothing, and indulging in various crimes, including murder, drug consumption, and moral crimes that further them into the other, like premarital sex, for hypervisualizing the sexuality of Latinos, and references to voodoo, a stereotype Jamaicans and other Caribbean cultures are subject to.
$2 million, man, in cash, right now.
This is not about money. This is about power. There's a new king in the streets. This is a message he has for your people. You are history. Fucking history. Goddamn puto.
What the fuck are you doing now, man? You're crazy!
King Willie says, not only do I have to kill you, but I have to take your soul. Voodoo magic. Fucking voodoo magic, man. But you know what? I tell you what I believe. Shit happens.
This links all the foreign characters in the film with all things civilized society hates. So this exemplifies that even when the Impossible Man is black, American film studios will go the extra mile to make it known the enemies of these American characters are foreign. Foreign equals the other. Foreign equals bad. And these are the Jamaican gangs and the Colombian gang members, while the standard is the American cops. And that standard is for how American audiences should act. What about when the Impossible Man is the same ethnicity as their enemies? How do you differentiate the other? In Predator 2, even though Danny Glover is a black individual, the studio makes it very clear that he is very different from the Jamaican gang members. Let's be honest, they made him white. They made him dress white, talk white, and act white. The same can be said about Antonio Banderas in The Mask of Zorro. He is supposed to be a smooth, handsome, sophisticated, whitewashed Mexican hero.
I don't have the time to give you the proper instruction.
I have had the proper instructions since I was 4.
He is told by an Englishman to cut his hair, act less hard, and talk proper Spanish. For reference, in high society in Mexico, if you act and dress more Spanish, aka European, aka white, you are looked at in a higher regard. Having tan skin is akin to being more native. So who is the other in The Mask of Zorro? Who are we supposed to be rooting against? Other Mexicans. Mexican individuals besides Antonio Banderas are depicted with darker brown skin, heavy accents, dirtier, greasier looking faces and clothing, long, uncut, shaggy hair and unkept beards.
Kill him.
Linking native features with criminal activity, marking them as low-class individuals. Even Antonio Mendez at the start of the film has this same look before he's reformed by a white man, Mr. Zorro. This is, again, linking foreign features with the other, the enemy, something that is notorious, evil, bad, malicious, terrible, all that, type shit. But that is why film is always evolving. There will always be people like me who disagree with normative film techniques and want to talk about things that no one else sees. There will always be people who resist identification. There will always be people that are not happy with what they see on screen. But without discourse or conflict, there is no storytelling. Resistance is essential to improving what has already been made. Everyone should be taught to actively resist the media. Media is not real life and should not be taken as such. But now more authentic cultural experiences can be created in media because of problems people had with how their cultures were being depicted in the past. This is because of resistance to identification. So, part of resistance, I think, is creating or promoting less problematic films. Today, I will be promoting some less problematic pieces of media. And by less problematic, I just mean these films are depicting human experiences everyone can relate to, while also giving genuine cultural experiences without making it a spectacle and just having race be a character trait of some characters rather than a feature of their personality. So by promoting these films, I think it is a solution to the OG problem we were talking about, making better perceptions in society for more diverse cultures in the minds of children. I want children to latch on to positive attributes of other cultures, not belittle them or make fun of them. I want people to chase understanding, learning, and respect. And that concludes my final presentation. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful day.